As Andrew said, hosts like to read things. I am generally a fiction writer, but I write micro essays for these because it's, I don't know, good practice learning how to talk about myself. So, seem to have a theme here, election related, so apologies for that. At my elementary school, George H.W. Bush won the 1988 election by a landslide. You could count the Dukakis diehards on one hand, and I was one of the fingers. Do you remember Michael Dukakis? I remember his eyebrows. Muppety in their seriousness. 1992, in the back seat of a Buick with my friend Becky, who supported the re-election of Bush because he was a known quantity, and who knew what you were going to get with Bill Clinton, with his saxophone and his pot smoking. How could you trust the man when you were forced to think about his lips so much? I said something about the devil you know without knowing it was a saying. My 18th birthday was 2 weeks after Bill Clinton's 1996 re-election, so I missed the chance to cast my first vote with my peers, and somehow also missed the Macarena craze that swept the DNC. Have you guys seen this video? Yes! Okay, it's amazing. I can't stop watching it. Just before midnight on November 7th, 2000, I'm still wandering around Oakland's Jack London Square, plugged into the AM radio on my bright yellow Sony Sports Walkman. I was afraid to miss the definitive decision, which I was sure would come any minute, and which would make Al Gore our president. The alternative was unthinkable. To be clear, I had not voted for Al Gore. I had, in fact, spent another evening in Oakland 2 weeks earlier pretending to be inspired by Ralph Nader. I was angry at Gore for some reason that remains unclear. Something about his being indistinguishable from Bush. Something about not compromising my moral purity. To be clear, I didn't vote at all.
It's your fault.
By the time I figured out how to vote absentee from Illinois, it was too late to get a ballot and also too late to register in California. I was 21, give me a break. I know. The first president I voted for was John Kerry the Doomed. I voted in DC, where citizens earned the right to vote for the president in 1961. The day after, I wore a black necktie to my law school gig as a symbol of mourning, or maybe I was just trying to be weird, I don't really remember. Chicago on voting day 2008 felt like the set of a musical about people who love politics. At Grant Park that night, I gave a diabetic black man a cough drop so he wouldn't pass out from low blood sugar, and I felt like maybe it was a metaphor for the future. 2012 was spent watching election results on a mind-numbingly slow Wi-Fi connection in Vietnam. I had been out of the country for most of that year, a trip which had revealed that the world didn't hate us anymore, a trend which would continue. And here we are, another revolution in the cycle, same but different. What remains the same, the seductiveness of moral certitude, the ways in which we're afraid to examine our fears, the devils we know and the ones we think we know, bolting our doors, circling our wagons, trading curiosity for the chance to scream at each other. I know now, and I think I knew even in 2000, though I would never admit it, that beneath my own certainty was the fear that I was avoiding the complexities of politics because being indignant was so much easier. I'm going to Europe this fall before the far right rips it apart again. I'm returning on November 7th. The next day, I will drag my imperfect, uncertain, morally impure, hopeful, fearful, extremely jet-lagged ass to the Park District building down the street and vote the motherfucking shit out of Hillary Clinton.